of course, via GBN TV or Facebook page, and of course, YouTube who are tuned in. It's to the point here on K105, and good morning to you once again. And this morning, as mentioned before in my intro, we're going to have a pretty open line this morning. So whatever, of course, it's on your mind. On this case, you can always give me that call. That's 435-2041.
What's going on, man?
Lots of things happening on this beautiful Spice Isle. And you probably want to be part of. Or it may have a little bit of a gripe on you for some reason or the other. Yeah. And you're saying, we're looking at the... of course, the COVID dashboard for of course, for today, and we see the stats. It continues to grow in terms of the amount of folks who are having the virus, and in terms of new cases, man. So we're seeing new confirmed cases, 501 new confirmed cases, and that was, of course, for yesterday, which was the 10th day of January 2022. Whatever else you want to chip in this morning, you can certainly do that. We're looking at active cases right now. In total, on island, we have 2,286 active cases. Whew. And that's, of course, a really high jump in the last couple of days in terms of new cases. What could be done? What could be done? Are you thinking that we may be heading for another lockdown? You want that to happen? Hey, don't forget my number you can call. That's 435-2041. That's 435-2041.
Very nice indeed.
It's to the point here on K105. Also looking at the new recoveries, just about 41. Of course, individuals in terms of new recoveries. We're happy that these individuals were able to get over. We do have a call online. Let's go over to this call and say good morning. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? Good morning to you.
Very all right, thank you.
How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So what's on your mind this morning?
Right. Actually, the reason that I called is to ask you kindly that when there is any conversation between the callers, you cut the music off. I notice that you've done that now.
Okay.
In other words, the music in the background, while the callers are interacting with you, it prevents us from hearing the conversation clearly and properly.
Okay, I understand that.
I have noticed that you are doing that now because I am not hearing that music in the background right now.
All right. Thanks for your concern, my dear.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
because it really takes a lot away from your enjoyment of the program.
Certainly, I do understand that. Thanks for the observation.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Let's call her there. And she's a little bit concerned about the music in the background. All right. So that'll be taken care of. That certainly will be taken care of. Hey, don't forget your calls. It's an open line today here on To The Point, folks. You could always chime in and share your concerns pertaining to issues that's, of course, affecting you. We noticed the increase in COVID cases. As of yesterday, we're up to 501 new cases on island, folks, with a total of 2,286 cases now overall on island. And a couple of weeks ago we were a little bit taken aback in terms of how the cases have decreased, and now it's back up again. So we're into a new wave per se in terms of new cases, and still that call is out for folks to be a little more concerned about their health and in terms of getting themselves secured. You understand? It may be tough because sometimes, you may not be that individual who's out there and, partaking in, of course, being around loads of individuals. But for some reason or the other, someone may carry it home to you. How do you feel about that? We do have another caller. Let's, of course, take a listen up to this caller and let them share their concern. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, my dear Burden. How is everything?
I'm doing okay.
Happy New Year.
Same to you, man. Same to you.
And how was the past?
Everything is all right.
Right, physical living the best in the world, Grenada.
I would agree with you on that.
It's number one in the world. We are the first part in the world.
Yeah. I
There
will
is
agree
no
with that.
place nice as Grenada, boss. You live and go any part and come back, you go tell you Grenada is the best in the whole wide world. Well, I'm talking about my country,
Yeah.
For a little while, been around. For a good little while, I've been around a good little while, ago. I find it's time that we as a nation to go forward. And let us change up and bring Grenada modernized. We too zungu for our country. Lockdown. 8 to 4 work, and you done for the day, and just day we just lock and close, Let's put, I talk about for the past and thing, but people take me on the finance. I'm a little boy, so don't take me. If I blow,
I share your concern. I share your concern also. I share your concern.
We was under England for all the years gone by. And we continue with the same policy they left us with. And we have people in authority, knowledgeable, educated, they say they have vision, they have foresight. But we still zungu. We still dead and come before our nation. Let's bring Grenada in the 21st century. Change on the monthly salary which you pay people dead so zungu monthly thing once in a while, they pay a month. Pay people weekly, fortnightly in Grenada. A man working the day, you pay him today and you have money to spend, come and collect more revenue. Now a holiday don't want to be locked down in the country for a holiday. The country could still open and the holiday could still run. And on this 8 to 4, let's not work by shift and change the work by shift ending. Let people work for a certain time, cut off, come back on and work again. You have buses running, you have transportation running. Government must get buses. It's years now, Mr. Humphrey talking about getting transport for the school children. I myself talk about buses for a long time. It's time government get buses. All the other islands in the Caribbean have private government have public transport. There was that once upon a time in Perry time. Well, after Perry fall, the other few buses, I think, came from Venezuela, I think, and in this year time, I know the sellers, I think, they get up. So, you don't think we're in there.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because it's always been a thought of mine also. Do you think that's going to make any difference right now? Because, things has deteriorated to the state where it is already. You understand?
COVID-19?
Well, not only COVID-19. You're talking about transportation and everything, public buses and whatever. I know I always say things on this island has to deteriorate before we try to fix it. Will you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I agree.
Because so if the bus service as it is right now has deteriorated to a point where I don't think it's fixable in whatever they're going to try to do to fix it.
There's nothing in place in Grenada as bus system.
You understand?
There's bus running, but nothing in place.
You by you saying that, let government get this, let government get public transport for students and whatever. In my opinion, I don't think that's going to solve the problem. You understand?
This is my point now. Now, with COVID-19 in Grenada right now, have everything kind of low-key. Try and put it in place. And when things start to move again, you have everything in proper order. Right? You have buses in Grenada, but there's no system working in Grenada. A man walking bus, because you want to walk a bus, like his personal bus.
Which I understand.
He care about nobody. He bring passengers down in the morning time. He bring them up in the evening. He care about that. But he's going to have a bus service running from 6 in the morning to 10 at night. Right? You directly where you have to go and get the bus, and you don't come in money, you come with a ticket. You get a ticket in the bus terminal, so where you got to get it, and you come on the bus. The bus leaving from Tongue to St. Patrick, 10 o'clock at least, pass on the western coast. You have one passing to Grand Town from 10 o'clock, Banner. You have one passing to St. David Top and St. David Bottom, 10 o'clock.
Caller, I share your concern. I share your concern. I understand where you're coming from. I understand what you think could happen.
Yeah,
but I think that it may be a wee bit impossible. You may not agree with me with it.
Yeah,
but
I
think it's impossible for that to happen right now.
In a place that you go run forward. And Sunday bound to be a day you lock down Grenada. And Sunday will be a day people go back to going to work still. Stop people need place to go, young people need place to go in this country.
I understand.
This country too dead for a modern 21st century country. Too dead. People living there nowhere to go and come and work, Well,
hopefully the authorities will listen to you, and of course, nobody's listening to you. I am listening to you this morning.
I just small to listen. I talk for the longest time, and people taking on me. Find out small things.
All right, caller, I understand where you're coming from.
Let's go back to outside world right now.
Now, take your 30 seconds and tell me what it is.
I listened to news for the past, and I learned from the past about Hitler was a wicked man. Hitler was a wicked man in 1940 and 42 war. Right. And if leaders in this modern time giving people pressure in this world right now. Tension. Russia and America are in a big battle right now. A big war. This might be out later on. And sanction on countries, and then within this COVID-19, 2022, COVID-19 still on, the economy fall, country economy falling. Only economy right now rising is China and Japan economy. All of the countries which have sanctions and things.
All right, caller.
I'll call back.
Have yourself a great morning, man.
You want to.
All right, thanks for your concern this morning. Of course, he has loads of ideas which he thinks could, of course, make a whole lot of difference for this island, which I understand. I do share those thoughts at times myself, but I always say things has deteriorated to a point where it may be a little difficult to fix. You understand? Let me just grab an example for you. You know, we see the potholes in the road. They will get to a point where they no longer could call it a regular pothole. You understand? Right? And it will stay there for weeks before anyone think about, you know, a way of solving that problem from happening again. All right? And they come and they put that little bit of whatever they put into it. And in a couple of weeks, you see the same thing happen again. We look at the pipes broken on the side of the road, and we see, of course, the water company per se. It stays there for days or sometimes before it's repaired. You understand? Under some circumstances, it stays like that for days before it's repaired. That's where my take come in when I say things have to deteriorate to a level, you know, before it's actually fixed. Let's take another caller this morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How you doing?
And so great to be able to get through to the program. I know that can be quite a challenge. It's that popular and everything. And I think that, therefore, it's one of the best places to air concern. This is general concerns being dealt with?
Yes, general concerns this morning. Yep.
Okay. I'm expressing concern about some lorry drivers with a project in the south of the island, Point Saline, specifically. And they have been driving up and down those highways at a rate, a lick. Now, that area is quite something for accidents. It has been quite something for death. We in the media community lost, very sadly, a few years back, one of our colleagues through a road accident in the said area. I won't be too specific about that, and I'm just making an appeal to these drivers. I know that there's a project to be done and everything like that, but we have to be more aware of the vehicles we are driving as well as those who are driving vehicles around us. Those lorries are tremendously heavy. What they are loaded with, building material, is even heavier and will therefore make each lorry even heavier. And they need to slow down.
I agree.
If anyone gets hit, that is it. Or let's put it like this. It will be a miracle. If someone who is hit, and I'm not just talking drivers, there are pedestrians along those highways as well. And I'm just making that appeal once again for them to slow down. And it's for their own good as well as for the good as those they are driving amongst.
All right.
So thank you for the chance.
I understand your concern. I understand your concern, caller. Have a good morning yourself. All right. Yeah, so that caller there was actually talking about, you know, that project that is actually taking place in the south of the island. And he's saying that the lorries, per se, are driving at ridiculous speed. Yeah, I have to say it that way. Ridiculous speed. Sometimes without that due care and attention for other road users. I certainly do understand that. I certainly have noticed it myself being in the area. And it's like, well, why is he going on that speed way? You understand? So, maybe the authorities look into it. Maybe a police presence in the area may curve the problem just a wee bit. I'm not sure if that's going to actually make any difference, but maybe a police presence in the area may curve that problem a little bit. Yeah. Think about it, right? Hey, don't forget the number to of course, to get on is 435-2041. That's 435-2041. It's to the point. And it's open line today, Tuesday. Just Tuesday talk, I would say. 15 after the hour. And we do have another caller. Let's go over and see what on this caller's mind this morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing okay myself.
Okay. My problem, what I would like to find out, when they test those people for COVID, right? When they finish test them, how do they handle them? Do they just, if you go and test in the stadium or wherever you go and test, when they find out that you have it, do they just tell you, well, go home and just stay
quarantine yourself at the quarantine home or somewhere of the sort?
Right. Or they put them on a special vehicle and send them home. Because if you give me, if you check me and I have COVID and you tell me go home, I have to take a bus. Right?
I understand your concern there.
Yes, I have to take a bus to go home. I go in the market, I take a bus. Some people already mask properly. What happens? It must spread. You understand? I find when they find people have COVID, the government should be able to get those people and bring them home. Make sure everybody go home and make them stay in their corners. You understand? That's my gripe.
All right. I understand that. I'm in agreement with you with that, because sometimes individuals may walk into various, of course, health institutions to get themselves tested, and they find out, hey, I have COVID, and whoever, the nurse or whoever tests you and tells you to, hey, you have COVID, go home and quarantine yourself. Now, if you don't have your personal vehicle to take you home, you're probably going to be using public transport.
Private public transportation.
And no,
which is bad. So maybe all that
could be causing the increase in the spread. I understand where you're coming from. I understand. And sometimes the individuals may not be wearing their mask on the bus that they're taking to go home. And that could lead to...
They know they have it, but the other people around doesn't know they have it.
Exactly. And folks have a tendency now not to wear masks properly. You understand?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, there's a say that COVID enters through the nostrils. You understand?
Right.
And sometimes I see a lot of folks are wearing their masks covering the mouth only. I know sometimes it's a little bit uncomfortable. You feel you can't breathe. You understand? To make it for conversation was easy to stay. So you just put it over the mouth and you leave your nose exposed. I've seen people in supermarkets and so forth using their mask that way. Just cover the mouth and their nose exposed. And that, you breathing out now, you could be infecting someone else. You understand?
So I share
your concern, I share your concern, caller. Have a great morning. All right. Yeah, of course, I understand that callers, of course, gripe there per se, as he so mentioned. Yeah. Hey, don't forget to call the number you call 435-2041. It's Tuesday Talk. We're just an open line today. You probably got something on your mind that you want to share. Let's go over to the phone line again and say good morning. How are you? Hello, good morning. You are live onto the point. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay myself. How about you?
All right. So far, so good, thank God. I just want to, like your place where you used to be working, the River Road area, there's a big project that's been taking place. Expansion of The point I'm trying to make is that you're expanding the road. But as soon as you expand the road or do something, there are always people setting up something. Yeah? So the traffic remains. You try to create space for vehicles and the free movement. We've seen that chaos is taking place right now on both highway. Where you just be truck packing one by one, come and they just clog the whole thing. So the trucks, half of the trucks stay on the road and half stay on, and still it's happening all over the place.
I understand. Yeah. I fully well understand where you're coming from. You say, in the River Road project that is taking place here right now, in terms of the road expansion, you're going to see people setting up little shops per se, or vehicles parking per se that may cause problems in the long run.
They have to come up. It's very good to see those things because we want to see free movement. Some of the traffic we see is being caused by just blocking unnecessary things. And you can't tell the people to move because they said you all know everybody has to survive. But, you have to ease the traffic and how. You've seen that happening in the entrance of Lansbean. Recently, they did a little expansion somewhere in Mongay Road by Hubbard's where it is. Somebody's done knock up a piece of nice 10 by 10 or 15 by 15 ply stuff there already. So, every time you do something, somebody come and you go back to the same thing again.
So you say you're looking for the authorities to have some control over that, whatever is have some control.
As you have so much vehicles, especially in the port highway. Somebody just jump out of the vehicle, they go and buy lunch. They leave the vehicle right in the center of the road.
Traffic obstruction.
And the police station is right there. And it's like how much the hell the people can do. yeah, we all know we all have to survive, but you cannot create problems. You want to see yourself go forward, but you can't disturb others. We have to come up with that sort of mentality. So that the authorities need to come up with all those things. They need to, especially in a boat to be is disgusting. Especially if you really want to see it, come up around like 11:30, 12. You will see the disturbances, which people just jumping out of the vehicle, buy lunch, and jumping back. Yeah,
I understand. I'm kind of guilty of that too. I'll be honest. I'm kind of guilty of that too. So when I pop in to get something, you jump in and you jump out quickly. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah,
but as I said, sometimes there are norms that we uphold. You understand, which we shouldn't have, and maybe it's something that the authorities could look into. You understand, and we hope they are listening and they will take a look at it.
I will not discomfort somebody to make a comfort for myself. Yeah, that is not the way of life.
All right.
All the best.
Take it easy, caller. All right. I understand that the callers grab there for sale because I'm guilty of it too. Somebody want to grab something to eat and you just pull up for a minute and you grab it and then you move. You understand? And he's talking about the construction that is actually going to be taking place in the road area. There's going to be a bit of a road expansion taking place there. And he's saying, something needs to be done, before something happens that will just make the whole effort of what's happening senseless. All right? Caller, good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm good. And how are you?
I'm doing good myself.
Great. I noticed that folks are asking or speaking about another lockdown because of the significant rise in COVID cases again. We have to be honest with ourselves. The governance of a country is not like a sole trader selling fruits or vegetables or like a village shop where he closes it when he wants and reopens it without any significant consequences. To close down the country again, you mean you'll be directly affecting the economic activities, which can lead to socio-economic problems. The business community, revenue falling, it's only obvious they're going to look to retrench, etc., etc. I think what needs to be done, we as a people, I want to say it with no disrespect, I'm proud to be Grenadian. If I have to be born again, I will ask God to make me born in Grenada. We are not acting as a civilized group of people. The medical experts have explained to us innumerable times. Look at what we ought to do to protect ourselves. And we are blatantly ignoring it. Adults should not be behaving as 5-year-olds and 3-year-olds. I remember my children when they were that age, I had to tell them one thing 5 times. You do not want to be vaccinated, fine, that's your right, okay? But you are not wearing the mask, you are not observing social distancing, you are not using the sanitizer, etc. What do you expect to happen? But I will ask the government, don't close down. I want us as a people to act intelligently, act wisely, obey the protocols, and let us fight together to eliminate the virus. No close down. Thanks very much.
All right, Bola. I'm certainly in agreement with you there. It's I keep saying also I don't think it's necessary right now. Once we as a people continue to follow the protocols and do what we have to do, we could be okay to a point. We may not be able to stop the infection from infecting one others, but we could make a big difference in terms of how we do things. As the caller rightly said, let's sanitize. We go into buildings and you see they have the sanitizers there. Use it. Wear your mask, and I will stress on that in terms of the mask wearing. Wear it properly. All right, make sure your masks are worn properly. Maintain your social distance. That's another thing that we've seen. Folks are not, because you go to various, just to think of a simple place to talk about, supermarkets per se, and you're watching the various folks going to pay for their goods, and everybody's like that close to each other. And you wonder what's happening, and then sometimes you stand up and folks watch it, you funny because they find you standing away from them. You understand? We have another caller. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
How you doing, sir?
Fair enough, thank you. The question of this COVID thing has become quite a nuisance to people. Now, I don't know for what reason Canadians are getting on the way they do. But I note with disgust that Grenadians, over 90% of Grenadians do not adhere to the protocols, wearing the mask, if you go on the road in public, you will see less than 20% of Grenadians wearing masks. And then keeping the distance, sanitizing. All these things are not strictly adhered to. And getting on the bus is a big mess. The bus is hardly sanitized as before. And some people wear masks, some people do not wear masks. So you see, Grenadians are not adhering to protocols. I am not promoting lockdown. But I think the police need to be far more firm with people. The gathering of people in rum shops. In the town of Victoria, it is a mess, especially in the night, especially in the weekends. There is a rum shop in Lower Queen Street, just about 200 yards from the police place. This place is open sometimes throughout the night, selling the drugs, selling the alcohol, loud music, no sanitizing, no distancing, no face mask, and crowds of young people. This place is spoiling Victoria, and they are spoiling the youths of Victoria, and the police do nothing about it. So I will blame the police for not drawing the attention of people to the protocols. And as a matter of fact, we need to do something more. As a matter of fact, when somebody is seen to be infected with the COVID, what happens? You're infected, yes, go home. Go home and infect those home that are not yet infected yet. And those home, when they get infected, go out and infect in the public those that are not yet infected yet. There is no control over infection. And this is madness. There must be some kind of protocol that should be adhered to ensure that infected persons do not infect others.
All right, caller.
Nothing is being done.
All right. I understand you agree with the caller, and I understand. Not much could be said in terms of response to your grief, but just that I understand. It's K105. It's to the point for Tuesday, the 11th day of January 2022. And it's Talk Tuesday. We just talking this morning. You probably have that little bit of an issue that is bothering you per se. It's like a little bit of a grief on you. Or a gripe per se. Yeah. And of course, this is the opportunity to let it out. The number you call 435-2041. That's 435-2041.
Very nice.
The caller a while ago mentioned that he doesn't think that a lockdown is gonna make a difference with anything right now. Businesses need to remain open, and going into a lockdown right now may not make a big difference in anything. Hey folks, we due for a short break. Let's take a short break, and when we do come back, we continue it, of course, to the point here on K105, also on GBN TV. Our online listeners who are viewing via Facebook and YouTube, we thank you all. We'll be back shortly.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements, or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 418-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Foliage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
With you folks, we're certainly back with you here on K105 and also on GBN TV. It's to the point for Tuesday, yeah, and it's Talk Tuesday as we call it. Just simply talking about various issues of concern to you. We do have a call already online. Let's go over to that caller and say good morning. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
And good morning to the listening audience, public. What's your name again, sir?
My name is Glenn.
Then what?
Tellisford.
Okay, because the reason I hardly see you on GBN most time, you know?
Yeah, I'm pretty new around. And it's actually the first time me hosting to the point, so probably that's the reason why.
Well, it's good to see you. Good to see a new person, new face, you know?
All right. Thank you, man.
Okay. I welcome you, man.
All right. So what's your grief this morning? What's bugging you a wee bit?
I heard a caller mention earlier when he called you about the transportation system here. And he was talking about the busmen, the way they operate. And I stopped with that color and those are what he said. Because we need a proper transportation system whereby he was mentioning about the time the buses should leave. And I think that's the way to go. He was mentioning Granite have a bus, Eastern side have one, West. And if you leave in 10 o'clock, you know, you're going to get a bus for 10 o'clock. And you go pay. I think that's the way to go.
Call, I understand the caller also, and I understand what you're saying. But what my thoughts is about this. Do you think that's going to make any difference in this day and time in Grenada? If they try to implement it per se, do you think that's going to work at all?
Yeah, it's going to work.
You think it's going to work? I'm just saying with the deterioration things has gotten already with the transport service in terms of how buses move and do things. Everybody just do their thing half of it. I don't know. I just have a different thought about it, and I just think it's too late to try anything new with this. You understand?
And what I think needed to come in here is government need to play a role in that. To bring in a public transport system. Because the busmen, they just don't care. I'm not saying they're not doing a good job, but sometimes they work. Listen how the busmen operate. Everybody want to come out 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and everybody want to finish 5, 6 o'clock and go home.
I understand that.
There is not a time frame whereby some of them, you're doing a service for the people. It's not all about money, you know. I know you need to make that money.
I understand that also.
But sometimes you go to the terminal at 8 and 9 in the night. People are stranded there. They cannot get bus to go home. And I endorse the color. And then you mentioned something about the road, which you are right about. They wait till the road gets to a dilapidated state and then they try to fix it. And that's what is happening now. If you look at the road from Grenville to Granite, that's the worst piece of road in Grenada right now, you know.
Well, they actually did some taking care of a couple of weeks ago. So it's traversing there myself the last couple of days. I noticed that there been some repairs done. So it's not 100%, but it's a lot better. It's a lot better.
Look, my shack, my Ushin, my boot rubber, all things busting because of this road in Granite.
I understand.
Since you leave Grambers and you go into town, you have to be skipping whole all the way up to Granite before Spring Garden and them places. I think it's very, very bad, man.
I understand.
And last thing I want to mention about that, and I will go, the public buildings, government buildings. We lack in maintenance of government buildings. Look what is happening now with the Prince Street. You see what they have to do?
Yep.
With the workers? Look the condition of the stadium.
Look at St. Paul's police station. No maintenance is being done on those buildings. Why do we have to wait when something gets, how should I say it? Why should we wait on the last moment when we cannot fix it, we address the issue? That's the problem with
as I also mentioned, we wait till it gets totally deteriorated and then we try to fix. I understand. I agree with you there also, caller.
Yes, man.
All right.
Have a nice day.
You too. Have a great morning.
Yeah, nice talking to you, man.
All right, no problem, man. Hey, folks, that was a caller sharing his grief there just a wee bit about various things that are happening around. Don't forget, you can always call. Let's talk, share your thoughts on things that are happening around the island. There may be something that just be bothering you for the longest while, and you just never had that opportunity to express it on any other medium. Here's the opportunity this morning. The number you call 435-2041. It's to the point here, and we're just talking this Tuesday morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Yes, good morning, sir. What was your name again, sir?
My name is Glenn. Tell us.
Glenn. There's so many G's out there, no, I get mixed up.
Mr. Rolo, sir, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm quite all right, thank you.
All right.
Listen.
I think as a youngster you may have known me, but at this stage of my life you may not remember me. Maybe on a one-on-one conversation you probably will know who I am.
We leave that out of the thing for now. Listen, couple of very interesting observations made by some of the folks calling in prior. The last one relative to preventative maintenance systems for government facilities. We have failed misery. And this, listen to me, this is where the government and people of Grenada wastes millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. And it's rather unfortunate. But we've established one day some discipline in this here country so that most of these things can be corrected. Not all of a sudden, because it would take training and understand, of course, proper orientation based on policy, state policy to get these things corrected. But I want to make an observation. My observation is the quote-unquote state of emergency. Now, we moved, the so-called Governor General established a state of emergency a couple of years ago in 20, was it again? Which one of them? It was
2020. 2020. Mm-hmm.
All right. The so-called Constitution gives authority for the individual to do it. So we know rights and powers and whatnot and what. Hallelujah. Now, the purpose given was the dangers threatened by the health situation, the pandemic, the risk of our people getting ill, falling and dying, the congestion in the health system, etc. Yes, of course, it was a threat that nobody knew anything about. So it was understood that we had to take that step so that necessary measures were to be put into place in case. Correct? But seemingly, all these risks have disappeared. People doing what they want. They refuse to obey the biosanitary regulations as established. Children going back to school normally, jamming up in the bus. The ships are coming in, the planes are coming in, whatnot. Everything has gone back to normal. We cannot continue to close down the place. Nobody wishes, I retract that word. Seemingly, few people wish to take the vaccination as a tool to help to mitigate, lessen the effects of the virus and so on. So we're back to normal. My question, therefore, is wherein lies the justification for the so-called state of emergency? I ask this question of the so-called leaders of this country, the so-called Prime Minister, the so-called Governor General, because she declared it. What justifies the state of emergency under which the people of this country are subjected to live? Is it because it's a nice opening to continue to suck the tete of the nation? Because you have suspended the Fiscal Responsibility Act, so nobody questions how the people's money are being spent. Is it that? I'd like to get some answers on that. ASAP.
All right, sir.
Have a nice day, will you?
You too. Have a good morning. All right, and of course, that was Mr. Rollo there expressing his concerns there about the state of emergency and so forth. 20 minutes and counting for the top of the hour. It's to the point here on K105, also live on GBN TV, other, of course, social media platforms. We are there live also. And it's an open line today, folks, where individuals are actually calling. Yeah, whatever is a little gripe you have, yeah, and you want to share it. We'll accommodate you this morning. Let's go over to the line once again and say good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. What about you?
I'm fine, bro.
All right. So what's bugging you out this morning?
And based on the vaccine, and the caller said she spoke about somebody took the vaccine, even a booster, and the person died. Well, that it happens sometimes. Even today, people are still dying from measles and other diseases that they get vaccinated for around the world.
Yes.
But it lessens the amount of people that is dying based on the vaccine. That's all.
Everybody's going to have different reactions, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I don't see, last night you had a program last night, you're on the headline. And you have 3 of the guests saying the same thing. And I was like, this doesn't really make much sense because 3 of them are saying the same thing. I'm saying that you can have back school, you can start back slow, you can start back fast. Once the teachers and the students are not vaccinated, it's a recipe for disaster. Yeah? So there's no other way about it. What the union leader should be preaching, because he claimed that he took vaccine already. That means he see the importance of the vaccine. He boasts about that. He should be pushing for his members to get vaccinated. By doing that, he's protecting them and protecting the children in school, which everybody wants that. So it shouldn't be a fight between union and government based on mask and going back to school and that this stuff. Both of them should be in one, pushing the same agenda. Because we both want the same result. Our children are safe, our teachers are safe. Simple like that.
All right, caller.
Have a nice day.
All right, man. Have a good morning. Yes, it's to the point, and it's open line a Tuesday for today, folks. We're just talking. We're talking, of course. You share your thoughts on different issues that are affecting this beautiful island of ours. And as I said, you may just have an issue that is bugging you, been bugging you for a long time. Let's go back to the line and say good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fairly all right, but a little bit disturbed of what minister says to me.
A minister said to you?
Yes, on the air a few days back, sometime last week. Let me tell you this. I've made this statement that opening up. No, not so. Sorry. Let me begin. I've made this statement or asked the question: wealth and health, which one is more important? Which comes first? And I made a comment after that. And my comment was like that. That's not the identical words. But my comment was, I wouldn't open school for the simple reason that you put in there's a recipe for disaster because the COVID situation is rising in greater rapidly. And one child could contaminate 200, 300, and 300 could contaminate 9,000. And so on and so on. So the ratio would be rising. So that's the reason why I ask wealth and health. If you don't have health, how you could be wealthy? What could you get from the wealth? In other words, it's useless you have wealth and you're not healthy. The lady minister of education, I don't know why she should be, told me that it seems you do not have children. This person that called do not have children. How does she know that? Maybe as I already stated, she's monitoring me or they are monitoring me. And I have known that long. And I look at this thing. Even people are saying, the people who have children at their home are saying that school shouldn't be open. The teachers are saying that. What happened? Is it because the people who are involved in saying what to do are much more educated than the people who do not take part in politics. You have to obey the people, or you have to live up to the expectation of the people, not the expectation of the parliamentarian, because some of them are square pegs in wrong hole. I didn't say all of them, eh? Some of them are square pegs in wrong hole. In fact, I have an idea of the lady who commented on me. So if I'd respond, I'd respond viciously on her. But I normally don't do that. I normally bat in my own crease.
All right, caller. All right.
She has no respect, because she insulted me by saying I don't have no. How does she know? Well, let me tell you this. I have children who are in charge of schools abroad, in America. Schools, not a school. I have those who could make you, who used to work for the Grenada government and even for the in electronics and so on. And they right up the ladder. I'm not right up the ladder as you and others, but I'm very reasonably intelligent. I don't know what does that mean. And the lady is she's fast.
All right, man. All right, caller. Have a great morning. Have a great morning. Caller seems to be a little bit upset. In terms of how he was responded to. Not always we do get that level of response how we want it, all right? So sometimes we have to understand. Good morning. How are you? Welcome to The Point.
Yeah, good morning. My thing is, I listen to the radio and the media, and I don't feel the media giving justice to the public, the nation as a whole. Because we on one thing, get vaccinated. But I don't believe some of the persons who leading us following CDC report on the debunking of the PCR test, which we're still pushing to do. I instead we're listening on the case it have concerning where they want to put the ingredients of the vaccine into a folder, keep it in a vault and open it in 2055, where they're supposed to release very soon. And still you're hearing in the Senate, the senator who dealing with business is talking about employers should start testing the workers with the PCR test who don't take the vaccine and charge them for it. So therefore it is telling you somebody not following up. We need to be more balanced with this thing. Education is one of the things that's missing with us. One of the problem out here also, a lot of people falling sick. People can't buy food. You're supposed to eat 50 pounds of food a week. If you don't have proper nutrients in your body and anything hit you, you'll fall down. Okay? This is some of the problems we have. The next thing, GBN have several talk show programs. Even one in the night I listen to regularly. But I find it starting to sound like Shaggy program. But the name of the program is Release It. But when you release it, the host or whoever is to try to shut you up. It had one again Friday on Obia. And when I listened what was coming across, I text. I'm a spiritual Baptist. The history of the Baptist understand. I'm a person into history. I'm a painter, I'm an artist. I'm into that, I understand arts. But the host of the program is make a statement. Don't study him. How could you make a statement? You don't know me, you don't know my background. You understand? We need to start building our people. If we start try to figure out the Baptist faith. Try to figure out about Orisha. Try to figure out about Shango, the African culture. Educate people on it. Talk about the history of it. Because one of the oldest Baptist churches right here in Grenada, which we don't even know. You understand? Talk about the history of the originator of it. Show the bad side of there's individual out there. Just like I always say, somebody said in misinformation. Yes, it have that. It also have it on the street with it also. And explain and educate our people. And then we build from there. Let we talk about going in and helping each other. A man have land, you don't have land. Go and help him plant. So you cut down your food costs. Let we see how we could bring down the importation of chicken. How we could get a hatchery to hatch eggs. Raise this kind of conversation.
All right, caller.
Putting down each other, and then somebody calling and debunking what this one saying, this one debunking, and then the minister come, and then we keep on going down a road is not beneficial to us. Where we supposed to be looking to build, because we're in a serious position right now. The leader of the country, he need help. But because of the scenario that created, nobody can, because everybody don't trust nobody. Nobody talk to nobody. Somebody right next to you has a neighbor, he fall long and dead. And sometimes when you hear he die from, you have something right in you could have helped him to save his life, because we're not talking to each other. When you talk, people put you down. We're not encouraging one another. We need to come out of that, try and re-educate ourselves.
All right, caller. We certainly get your point, and of course that you've been trying to share, and of course, so we share your grief also. All right. Good morning to you. Hey, folks, it's K105. Don't forget, coming up at 10 a.m. this morning, don't forget that post-cabinet press briefing as usual. At 10 a.m., of course, GBN will be joining, of course, GIS Live for that. So stick around for that directly after, to the point this morning. We do have another caller online. Let's go over and see what this caller, of course, has to share this morning in terms of what's bugging him this morning. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning to you. I haven't caught your name, so I'd like to address.
My name, let's just work on a first name basis this morning. You can just call me Glenn.
Okay, good morning, Glenn.
All right.
And to all your followers on the different platforms. Now, the COVID situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think, that's my personal view, listening to everything that I could hear and following it, internationally. I believe that we are at a point now, especially with this new variant, where we have to shift gears. While vaccination has to be the ultimate aim in the long term, medium to long term, no amount of vaccination will stop Omicron in Grenada right now because of the time it takes for the vaccine to take effect into your body.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing is spreading like wildfire. I am of the opinion that within the next month or so, approximately 90% of us will have it. Many of us may not even know we have it.
And that's just a personal opinion of yours?
That's my opinion.
Okay.
It is so transmissible. And especially if we don't follow the protocols and we continue to go on buses, we're not wearing masks, we stop the buses, people are playing dominoes together in a little table, and we're doing all the things we're doing. I'm convinced that all of us will get it. Almost every one of us, including myself, although I'm vaxxed and boosted.
Mm-hmm.
The outcome for us will vary based on our immune situation, whether it's natural or acquired immunity, our general health condition, right? And I believe, and also our access to therapeutics, treatment, in other words, because it's going to affect so many of us. It will affect from the youngest child to the oldest person. And some of these people are going to be vulnerable. The majority of us, we may say it's just mild. But for some of us who are vulnerable, we may not survive it. So I believe that we have to, when I spoke of switching gear, we have to continue encouraging people to vaccinate, but we have to also focus a lot on surviving it. Now, vaccination is a part of the survival kit. But you also have to look at treatment. It's too late now for nutrition because you're going to take us in the next week or two. But we have to continue doing the nutrition for future strains. We have to continue vaccinating. But in the meantime, I think the powers that be have to start focusing on showing people how they can prevent it from spreading in their homes, in their families, and how they can treat those who are diagnosed or who are suspected to have it. What can you do at home? Apart from the rest and the fluids for regular flu, is there anything you can use? There must be, and we have to try to make available at a reasonable cost some sort of therapeutic or treatment for those who are sick. And I think that the emphasis on vaccination, while it's good overall, it's not helping, it won't help us with Omicron, which is already here and spreading very rapidly. So I am just appealing that while we look at the bigger picture, the picture that's right before us now cannot be ignored.
Okay.
And unless that part of it is addressed now, we may lose more persons or more people than we need to. And my admonition to the folks out there, be responsible. This thing is highly transmissible. Do the best we can. Use all options we have, one of them being the vaccination.
All right.
But let us follow the protocols. Unless we do, I could see close to 100,000 of us having it and a number of vulnerable ones losing their lives.
All right.
That's my contribution.
All right, caller. Have a good morning. Thanks again for your contribution this morning. All right. So, of course, sharing various concerns this morning. We got a few more minutes left on the program this morning. Just about, should I say, about 5 minutes or so before we wrap this morning. It's K105. It's to the point. And it's basically an open line this morning. It's GT here, folks. Yeah, let me say GT. I'll go by that this morning. I'm just holding it down for Joseph this morning. And let's take a caller. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Good enough.
All right.
Education in Grenada means academic education.
Mm-hmm.
Not being able to do...
Would you just hold for a second? Would you mind lowering your radio in the background?
Sir,
I think it's a little loud.
I'll become aware of that.
Okay. Let the caller fix his radio this wee bit, and we may be able to entertain one more after this. Maybe or not, depending on the length of the contribution of this caller. Are you back with us? Still your radio's a wee bit too loud? Caller, we may have to move on just a wee bit until we, of course, get your radio stuff, of course, rectified, and then you can get back with us. It's K105. Don't forget the number 435-2041, 435-2041. It's to the point. It's open line on Tuesday. We're just talking stuff about what's happening, of course, locally. Of course, stuff that is bugging you a little bit, and you just wanted to get that out. The opportunity being offered this morning for you to do so. We do have another caller. Let's take that caller and say good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, brethren. Call back, Now, road in Grenada is built with a good foundation.
Yeah.
Road in the past was built for donkey cart, wasn't for vehicle. We just maintaining some tar on top of it. So we have to put modern road infrastructure in place. We have to build roads with foundation. We have enough big stone, enough riverbed, which you could dump in the middle of the road and make it solid so vehicle could run it heavy, so that light will run for 100 years.
All right, caller.
Otherwise, you ain't going nowhere and split up in mud.
All right, caller.
Time we get a foundation and that will build going by zero, go back up again. We have to build by zero. You ain't build yet.
All right, man.
It's time on.
Take it easy. Okay, man. That was a caller there this morning. We may have time maybe for one more. We're looking at 3 minutes moving out before the top. Don't forget our top post-cabinet briefing, folks. We'll be carrying that live for you on GBN TV and also on K105. So you could join us for post-cabinet press briefing this morning. So let's take our final caller for this morning and go over and say good morning to the caller. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. According to the protocol, me again.
You again. Tell me. We have a few minutes. Minutes before we wrap up.
Let me go. In Grenada, I've observed that long. Everybody believes that education is academic education. As I've already said, education is the all-round development of the individual.
I agree.
If you have skill, you're not educated. That's what they think. And if this is the problem, that's why we're talking about academic education in this COVIDious time. We have to concentrate on skill even before COVID come. So we have to concentrate. That is why the minister Balin about we had to go back to school. We had to go back to school because a man that we want academic education, a man that could use his hands skillfully, he is not educated, and we have to get rid of this.
That particular mindset.
Yes. Now I could brag myself. I'm sure I could do more than 10 different things. Welding, I never been to a school for that. Plumbing, I never been to a school. Even my own house, me that construct it, and he better than a lot of the builders, a fire builders.
All right, caller. We're going to have to put a cap in it this morning. We just like about 10 seconds before the top.
When people don't know you, they brand you as stupid if you play stupid. Let them put their hand in their mouth and bite it out.
All right, caller, have a good morning. He seemed to be having a lot of grief there this morning. Anyway, hey, that's how you can put a wrap inside of things this morning for To The Point. I want to thank you folks who participated this morning in the open line segment. And certainly a lot of you shared your griefs, that whatever is bugging you this morning. And we certainly do appreciate your call, or calls per se. Have a great day. I want to say goodbye to the folks via GBN TV and those of you on the various platforms, YouTube and Facebook. Those of you who chimed in with, of course, your messages and so forth via WhatsApp, which I didn't get a chance to, of course, take a look at. And we certainly do appreciate it. Hey, this is where we come to the end of To The Point for today. Have yourself a great day.